Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alista Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Gavv, Episode 2. So, the last time we saw our beloved king of sweets, sugar, and diabetes, he was at a park, on the ground. He looks like he's dead. And we get this kind woman named Sachika, and she notices Shoma, and she assumes that he is dead. So she ends up, poking him and screaming like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, wake up! You're not dead, are you?" And Shoma wakes up, and his second stomach growls, and Shoma says, "I'm hungry. Do you have any food?" And Sashika was like, yeah, sure. Come with me then. So she takes him to her place of business. The name of her building is called the Handyman Happy Parade. And her building is very colorful. I haven't seen a building like that in ever. It's too colorful and bright. But yeah, it's the thing of the show anyways. It's colorful and bright. So we get inside, and Shoma is like, "Wow, you live here, and it's all bright and all colorfully." And Sashika gives Shoma a towel, which he mistakenly thought it was cotton candy. He eats it, or at least tries to eat it, but she was like, "No, that's a towel, dude. You need to wash up. Go take a shower, because God only knows how long you've been in that park for." And Shoma's like, "Huh?" Okay. So as Shoma is taking his shower, we get into the scene where we get an introduction to the Stomach family. The Stomach family reminds me of the Nightmare family from Kamen Rider Double. They are responsible for the creation of the dark treats, and they're looking for Shoma. And they have their soldiers looking for him, dead or alive. And we don't know why they're kidnapping humans, but the leader of the family is going after the rich now. And then we get a glimpse of one of the monsters who is in monster form, and the leader was like, "How many times am I supposed to tell you that please be in your human form, or else trouble will start?" So we see a Gavv pop out. There's a key. He uses it, and this monster turns into a human male. And yeah, we get the introduction to the leader, to a woman, twins, and of course the young man with glasses. So we get from the Stomach family back to Shoma after his shower. And we get to see this table full of food. One side is a bento, where the other side was full of candy and other snacks. And already Shoma is munching on the gummies. And as he was starting to eat the gummies, he realizes that, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because he is pooping out new minions, and you see a couple of minions hiding in some bookshelf, and he's like, "Oh crap." So he moves from the snacks to eating the bento, which, by the way, we made a discovery that if he eats regular food, like what he ate with the bento with the rice and the chicken and all that, nothing pops out from his Gavv. But if he ends up eating something like potato chips or candies, anything that is sugary and salty, the minions are popping out of him left and right. So at least we know that he's safe. Like, he can eat without popping out minions. And then he discovers a bag of chips, and he starts eating one of the chips, and he's like, "Ooh, it's delicious." And he starts eating them until he realizes, "Uh-oh, here it comes. Here comes new minions." And luckily for Shoma, Sashika was on the phone. And as she was on the phone, you see Shoma, with his new chip minions that fall into the bucket. There's a hidden joke there. And Shoma just quickly goes to the shelves, picks up a couple of his minions, and picks up the chip minions from the bucket and stuffs them in his shorts. And so Sashika ends her phone call with disappointment because one of her employees dropped out. It's only her to help out her client, who, by the way, her client is moving from her house to a new apartment. And this is where Shoma volunteers to help Sashika as a way of repaying her kindness. And so, she ends up agreeing, but not until she tells Shoma, "Hey, brush your teeth first." Brush your teeth, Shoma. I don't want you to have, stuff on your teeth, yellow teeth and potato chips. Brush your teeth. So we get to the next scene with Hanto, where he gets a notification that apparently there is a source that saw the monster attack from last week, so he's going to the source and talk. And then we move on from Hanto to Shoma, and he ends up showing off his super strength. He takes a couple of boxes from the house into the truck, out of the truck into the apartment. Yeah, and the girls were impressed because, damn, like, Shoma, you're stronger than you look. And, the client was offering them, "Hey, you want something to eat? I'll pay." And we get into the next scene where the girls are eating ramen while Shoma picked the potato chips instead. And as he was eating, you could already tell by the look on his face, is like, yeah, they're coming out. They're coming out. So we move on from the potato minions, pooping out of Shoma. We go back to Hanto, where he talks to the mother and son that we saw from the pilot episode, and the mom is telling Hanto that these two monsters attack us. I thought that my son was gonna get killed and whatnot, and the son was like, no, that's not what happened. Yes, there was a monster, but the other monster that you deem a monster is not a monster. He saved my life. He is my friend. But of course, mom is not hearing him, and he just turns away and with disappointment and all that. So after that, as Hanto is getting his report from last week's monster attack, we get a new monster, and this monster is getting a new notification for work, and this new job is to hunt down Sashika's client, because we saw, on his phone, her picture. So after that, Shoma gets his first paycheck, and we get this reveal that his mom were telling stories about the snacks that she ate during her time on Earth. And this is where we get into this flashback with Shoma's mom and how she tasted potato chips for the first time. And then after the flashback, Sachika gives Shoma a diary for him to write all the treats that he ate and whatnot, and also offers him a place to stay in case he has nowhere else to go. And then we get the reason behind her opening up her business is because she loves helping people in need. And I honestly wish there was more of her in real life, because God, in these times we need people like her, but we don't. Sadly. So we move on from the flashbacks and revelations. We get back to the apartment, where we get to see the chip minions escaping the room and trying to hunt down their master, Shoma. And on the way, they spot the monster kidnapping Sachika's client. And so after witnessing that, they somehow, someway found their way back to Shoma and telling him that, hey, there's been a monster attack. And they led him to the monster. And then it led to, him transforming into Kamen Rider Gavv and rescuing Sashika's client. And then we get to see the debut of the chip form called the Zaku chip form. And I have to admit, it looks decent. It looks nice. It's literally, it looks like it came out from a, potato chip bag. And so we get this scene where Shoma is testing his new suit, and we get to see that if he were to slice a bar, it will not cut. But if he slices it in a certain angle, it does cut. And also the chip blades, they get broken if they're used if they're not used properly. You see them break, but also they grow back. So as he was testing the waters with his new form, we quickly go to the fight between this monster and Shoma in his chip form. He quickly defeats it, and then he does his iconic thing where he asks this monster, please give up, eating the dark treats and whatnot, or else I have to kick your ass. But of course the monster says, no way. Why would I give up the dark treats for? And of course it leads to the monster's destruction. Sashika's client is freed, but unfortunately for Shoma, instead of receiving a thank you, he gets a monster shout, and this woman is all scared and petrified that this Kamen Rider is a monster and whatnot. And poor Shoma, he's all sad. He gets all depressed and tells her, look, I'm not a monster, but please be safe. And he just does the whole sad walk. He summons his ride, and he just rides away into the darkness all sad. I feel bad for this kid. But look at the bright side, Shoma. I mean, you did save the girl, so don't worry about it too much. So we get to the next scene with Hanto, and we get this flashback of him when he was a child back 18 years ago. And you see him playing with his mom, and then all of a sudden this monster pops out of nowhere and either kidnaps his mom or eats her. Either way, she's gone. And then flash forward into 18 years later, we now know the reason why he's been searching for this specific monster, because it's the monster that killed his mom. And then we get sad Shoma riding into the darkness, and Hanto spots him and does the yatta, I found you. So Hanto assumes that he found his monster in Shoma, but we all know that eventually everything is going to get cleared up, and Hanto is like, yeah, you got the wrong guy. Sorry, I'm not your monster. So he spots Shoma, assuming that that's the same monster that killed his mom, And we move to the next scene where once again Shoma leaves without saying goodbye, but leaves behind a letter, just giving his thanks for, giving me a shower and letting me eat and letting him, help her and whatnot. Just giving his thanks. And we see him once again riding his bike to his next adventure. And we move on from there to the last scene where we get a stomach soldier talking to one of the twins and giving news about Shoma in this picture. And apparently this twin recognizes this being could be Shoma, but also noticed something peculiar, and that's where episode 2 ends. And yeah, it ends right there. So this episode, once again, it's giving us some information, some flashbacks, and I like it. I like it so far, and it's better than Gacha, that's for sure. We get to know a little bit more of Shoma, Shoma's mom. We get to know at least the basic introduction of the Stomach family and the creation of the dark treats. We don't know why they're kidnapping humans, but eventually we'll find out later. We now know why Hanto has been monster hunting. He's been hunting this monster for 18 years. We know that Sashika, she's a good person, and the origins as to why she started to open up this business and just wants to help people in need. We now know that regular food does not cause Shoma to produce more minions, but if he ends up eating more candy, more salty treats, just snacks in general, minions will come popping out. We know that the chip form has some, not limitations, but you need to master a couple of things in order to master it, like swinging your sword in order to cut the right way and whatnot. So it's a nice episode, and hopefully in the next episodes, a couple of episodes, we get more information as we go on. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. So have you watched episode 2? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did I miss anything? Because even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things. You never know. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And also, I just want to add a couple of things too before I go. Can you imagine the ultimate form or the mega form that it could be a cake? Can you imagine Shoma eating a cake and it turns out to be, his mega form, his final form as a cake or a pie or a mochi? That would be very cool if a cake or a pie or a mochi be the ultimate and final form. That would be cool. Other than that, also I want to add, can you imagine if it ends up being a trend where we find Shoma laying somewhere in some other park or laying somewhere in a library or whatever? Can you imagine it being a trend? That would be funny. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Give a like if you like it, and please subscribe. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Johnny!